Welcome back, everybody, to the FSL Water of Open 5 powered by Intel and Yahoo. And we're again going to be your shoutcasters for today. My name is Dash, and I'm here with Infinity.
I am excited. We're here
Yeah.
now on our third series of the day. We're gonna shotcast it, and we're here with D35 up against Sharper Esport, and we are going to cast and observe their second game already. So Dash, I don't know what to
Yeah.
expect. This is a new game. It's a new team. It's a new series.
It's surprising, though, that we're going to be in mid-game, or rather mid-series. We're going to be casting the mid-series of D35 and Sharper Esports. We have seen the game a while ago. It was going, or rather, it was happening during our game a while ago. That's why we weren't able to cast the first game. But at least now we're going to be seeing how these teams are pairing up against each other for this second game.
Yeah, and that's the unique thing about it, right? We don't know what to expect because game one
We have a
already happened,
surprise, yeah.
and just D35 won up against Sharper Esports. But that's the sole basis that we are going to have on this specific series on lower bracket round 2. And that makes it so
Yeah.
much interesting to observe, so much interesting to see what would be the storyline for both these teams.
Because we're already on to Chasing Dreams being in the upper bracket, waiting for anyone who was going to be fighting against them onto the grand finals. So we're just waiting for all the people onto the lower bracket to be winning their series for us to get into the next game. But right here, we're going to be seeing D35 and Sharper Esports fighting against each other. And I hope they are on the meta as close as what Chasing Dreams are.
We'll see, because Chasing Dreams is on a whole nother level. And yes, we're done watching this series, or we're done watching this team, but they're just so dominant. Like, would this team, or would D35 or would Sharper Esport reflect a similar graph, would reflect similar champions? And I think there are still a lot of factors to consider, because you have to think about who will be the champions that these players are comfortable using. What are the active practice champion pool for these teams? Because every single player has different champions, has different picks. So what will that be reflecting onto SE and D35?
Oh, this is what it is, Infinity. The Vayne to the Lulu. We have seen this before, and we almost always said that this is like the classic bread and butter combo, or not even a combo, duo. The Vayne Lulu is just super safe. That's why this is just gonna be something pretty scary to look forward to. If the Vayne won't be able to get the items that she needs, it would be a big problem, considering also that the Gwen was up. So Sharper Esports just went in, take that Gwen.
I'm loving it. This is the classic dual laner. We haven't seen Vayne and Lulu for a very, very long time. And when I mean very long time, I meant it. It's such a long time we've seen this duo in the professional setup. And now that we're seeing once again for D35, they should play late game.
Yeah. Because with the 35 having the Vayne, the Lulu, that just gave way for Gwen and Jax to get picked off. That's one of the best counters for an auto attacker. Vayne might have a problem getting close because of the way this champion works. So that is something that they need to traverse here onto the side of D35. But they have a Sion too. I love how experimental this team is right here in Infinity. We haven't seen a Sion in a lot of pro play, but Sion is coming out for D35.
Yeah, and this is really interesting, right? I think what they're doing is to maybe hover in. You have a Lulu already, and you want to have a lot of champions that is capable into, receiving and carrying the team into sponging out the damage. And I think this is also a pivot from D35. They want to go for this type of classic setup with a good front line. Because in a Vayne Lulu setup, considering the mid-range of this ADC, you have to go in a bit of a dangerous position to deal damage. And Sion is going to be relevant into being the shield, per se, of this ADC.
Jax, the Sion, they need someone to go forward. And the Sion is a good matchup, especially against a lot of this O2 attackers, because that is where Sion thrives. And what I like about the Sion, he's like the meat shield, as he said. And he does pack a lot of punch too. So with this for D35, what they need, something else like a jungler that could get the early game in their favor, and I think the Wukong fills that role pretty okay because they want to protect the Vayne as much as they can. That's why there's just stacking CC upon CC on this last picks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're lacking onto the potential for the crowd control, the potential for team fights. And yes, you already have Sion, you already have Lulu, but they're still lacking. And Wukong, as you stated,
Oh,
would alleviate that deficit of CC. As for Sharper Esport, though, when they lock in onto this Galio, they have Karma as well in the same draft. So they have so much utility up against
what?
D35.
That's a lot of a lot of dive on the hands of Sharper Esports. So if they pick up the Wukong, and that is what is great about this. They have the Wukong against the Gallia, Gwen, and Jax. If ever they dive the back line, they have ways to stop them from doing that. And Ari is just good just because she's convenient on this composition. Because if ever they lose the damage, the Ari would be there to swoop in, try to get the core key, and maybe finish up the kills in where Vayne would do the DPS.
Yeah, but here is my thinking, right? Sharper Esports has just so much of AoE CC and has so much team fight potential that D35 cannot go into team fights, especially coming into mid game, late game. Yes, you have Vayne, but still, that's not going to be sufficient enough when you're going in for an all-in. Sharper Esports has Karma, they have Galio, they have Jax. These are all AoE CC champions that are capable of just putting certain champions down, and what they have to target is pretty much just Vayne. If they remove Vayne, it's over for D35.
Yeah, if they lose the Vayne, they lose a chunk of their damage, and that's a big one because the Vayne is going to be the only damage source that they have here. But looking at Sharper Esports, they have three damage sources on their hands, which is pretty scary to look at. But if we're taking a look at the team that is more of the classic forward to back composition, I think what they have for D35 is good. I just hope that they would be able to follow through with that, just having the front line in front, not letting them get close to the Vayne.
Yeah, so we'll see because they have a lot of this peel for the Vayne. They have a lot of these champions that are capable of doing so those are going to be some champions and some players that we need to look at, because Vayne is really a straightforward champion when it comes to the process of strategy, right? Vayne farm early, mid game, scale really well, late game she's gonna wreak havoc. She's gonna be super strong. That's pretty much the linearity of this champion. So I think we really just have to look at how Wukong will path himself, or herself rather, into the different parts of the map, how Sion will be able to impact the game overall.
Yeah, Sion would be a pretty important pick here for them though, because with the unstoppable onslaught, that would be able to slow down, stun up, and the decimating smash, and together with the cyclone, that makes it pretty hard for them to do a lot more with these compositions. So this is gonna be pretty scary for the side right here of Sharper Esports. Yes, they lost one game. This could potentially be the end of it all for D35. So Sharper Esports, they need to be really careful on how they play around this.
So now we're looking at a standard type of positioning. However, Ginny won. This is the disadvantage, right, of Vayne. Vayne is an ADC that doesn't have a long range normal attack. It's mid-range. Yeah. So she has to close in before being able to deal damage, before being able to deal normal attacks. And that is just an opening for Nemonu and Julie Bear to deal damage against the opposing side.
Yeah. And with this though, for D35, I do hope that they would be able to deal, or rather, they would be able to work out this composition. I think this is much easier to work out for D35. Because right here for Sharper Esports, they need a lot of item breakthroughs. That is what I'm scared of, and it's way scattered compared to what D35 has. If it comes to structure, D35 has the better composition. But Sharper Esports, they can get away if they get this to work.
Oh yeah, definitely. Although what I'm thinking is that Sharper Esports, what they could have done is maybe put Julie Bear into the mid lane instead and put Corki into the bottom lane. So they have more of a linear type of setup. They have Karma building onto AP as well, Lunarize building into a carry position. You also have Galio going in for support, but this would work regardless. But just the lacking part of having a Karma Galio bottom lane is the potential to just consistently go all in up against D35, especially with this Vayne.
Yeah. And I think this is not the matchup that I was expecting for Sharper Esports. To go for the Karma, Gallia in the bot lane. Yes, they have the pressure of the Winds of War and also the poke from Karma. But I think it could have been better if this was a Corki. They could arrange this matchup with the Karma. But with this, I think Vayne is safely farming. And this is not good.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about, right? This is what we've mentioned priorly. They could have switched it up, but regardless, this would be looking okay, and this would not be, game breaking for Sharper Esports in a negative way. So it's not bad. In addition to that, though, Sharper Esports composition heavily relies onto a lot of AP champions: Galio, Karma, Corgi, Gwen. So D35 could build up onto Merc Creds, build up onto this magic resistance, and have huge chunks of damage removed from Sharper Esports.
Even the Jax has a chunk of magic damage too with his ultimate passive. So that is what I'm scared of here for Sharper Esports, because D35 could just easily itemize against them, especially that they have Mira on their team. So she could easily just chunk down a lot of the dismembers and maybe face tank a lot of their magic damage. And that's one of the problems with magic damage, is just one burst. After that one burst, Mira would just survive for maybe 5 seconds for 10 more seconds.
Yeah, it's a monotonic type of scenario of a damage composition for Sharper Esports. But regardless, a very, very stale early game. And this is favoring D35 quite significantly because Ginny won. She has more gold than Karma or Galio.
Yeah.
So that means that she's farming freely, that she's farming really, really well, and the lane is healthy towards D35.
Yeah. D35 does have the chance here, though. That's the making smash onto the top side, but Mira, she can just, going in with an unstoppable onslaught because RP is here with a Cyclone. That was a great play from both of them. Mira might fall, but it's okay because that's going to be a double kill on their side. And that was a perfect bait from Mira.
Yeah, really, really well. And Lunarize just has to respond on top side and clear the waves because if not, Celine's lane is not going to have prio. Celine's lane is not going to have a great time, so she has to just clear on the waves, push in the wave, have that ability. And it's just a lot of in and outs of both these teams so far in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And now the question is, like Rift Herald and Ocean Drake coming up, I think Sharper Esports would have the better opportunity to take the Rift Herald first and put in pressure against D35 early on.
Crazy that D35s are the ones setting the face up for against Sharper Esports, because Sharper Esports doesn't have enough damage. That's why D35 could just go in for fights whenever they want to, because they're going to be gaining advantage. They're only just looking at Jenny for the late game, and the other members do have some damage against them. And that's why right here, Rift Herald being taken by them.
Yeah, this is actually quite interesting. Sharper Esports is going in for the Ocean Drake to gain more sustainability. D35 going for the Rift Herald. Actually quite surprising considering that D35 wants to go for more of a late game. But still, I think this makes sense in a way that D35 doesn't really have the potential in this early matchup. So Sharper Esports has the lead on the first objective thing.
Yeah, they even want to push already. Transcendent Embrace was able to hit onto 2, but they still need to take down the tower though. But that's going to be it. That's going to be hard. Cyclone onto the back line was able to get the damage that they need. The tower is still there. And I think RP is going to be falling down here because of that tower damage that they got. And still a 1-4-0. Great for Sharper.
That was unfortunate. If D35 could have broke the turret much early on, I think they could have won that fight because the turret was alive for like how many seconds? And it was 30 HP. It was so long. It is not that favorable for D35 overall.
Yeah. They were looking at the tower And because of that Shield of the Run, they weren't able to take it down, and they were kind of scared of trying to commit under the turret, but they committed anyway. It's a good measured RP. Just went in for it, but look at this. Jinny doesn't have the flash, does have the barrier though. She needs to back away from this. Hero's Entrance has been used too, and she's gonna be killed.
Really, really unfortunate on Genie 1 dying in a very what's the term? In a very bad way.
Unfortunate, I think. Oh, Cyclone. Bot lane, RP not even gonna use it. It's still on cooldown, but they still want to go for a fight here. With the Wild Grove, I think this is gonna be doable for them. Looking at that, Narda going in, was able to get the charm. A lot of damage, but RP still fighting in front. She's in front, rooted, and she might fall down, though she's taking. Oh, the missile barrage wasn't able to hit, and that's gonna be 1-for-1.
Yeah,
oh no, 1-for-0.
Yeah, at the very least, D35 is able to get that trade-off from a while ago up against Genie 1. That's really good. So far, this is surprisingly close. I think at this point in time, I was expecting Sharper Esports to maybe just have a very dominant early game, and D35 later on will have a very dominant late game. But so far, even level playing fields for both these teams.
Yeah. Great playing field for D35. That they have been playing this pretty well with the towers are going down. And even the matchup on the top lane though, Mira against Celine, it is looking like Mira is just winning a lot in this matchup just because she took a lot of plays together with it. Narda going front, Hollowed Mist has been popped by Laris, but they're gonna be backing away. Spirit Rush has been used.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate because Narda will have a loss of a mobility skill, a very important mobility skill to say the least, because that will enable Narda to engage later on or disengage. So far, Genie 1 though.
Yeah, we're getting sauce. Hero's Entrance is for them to be pushed back. Great measure for the side of Sharper Esports, but the tower is going to be falling down, which is not good for the side of Sharper because they're losing a lot of these towers.
Yeah, and that's also an injection of gold onto Genie 1. Remember, Genie 1 will be the main key to win and for success of D35. And with that turret down, Genie 1 has just got a lot of gold in the bag for herself rather, is able to now buy Wit's End.
With this D35, I like the fact that they have been playing this game pretty well, even with the composition that this is not. I was not expecting this to happen, that with this composition, they're going to be playing well. Their area is just, they picked up the area just for them to have the early game damage for Janie to accelerate, and it's working pretty well. The problem with Sharper Esports' composition is that most of them need to get to the late game, and that's why right now they're losing a lot of their towers, losing a lot on the objectives.
Yeah, we'll see though. D35 going in for the Rift Herald, but here's my question, and I think that you have a better answer for it. Who's looking at the better state towards the late game? Because you have Vayne into consideration for D35 along with Ludo and Mira. But Sharper Esports, as you stated a while ago, is looking for a late game as well.
Yeah. But I think D35 does have a more geared towards early game to mid game composition compared to them. But looking at this fight though, Infinity Hallowed Mist has been popped to the Cyclone just for them to take the tower. I think that's good. Onto the back line, they got it already. And the Spirit Rush right there from Nardo. Another charm was able to hit though. But looking at the fight at the back line though, they're still surviving. Jinny is just taking down a lot of dismembers, a lot of damage from this Vayne. She's going crazy, exhausted even. But they have been able to take 2-4-0 already. But back to your question, Infinity, my answer is, when it comes to the late game, Sharper Esports has a lot of damage, and it all comes down to how they use it. Because against a front to back composition, it's hard to make use of your DPS.
Oh yeah, that actually makes sense. Now you've talked about it, right? You have Lois onto Gwen, you have Celine onto Jax, you have Lunarize onto Corki, and these are massive damage leaders towards mid to late game. So it's actually making some point. And on top of all that, Jax can counteract the damage of Genie 1 with the counter strike as well.
And that's why it's pretty hard for Genie 1 to be relevant in the late game. But looking at this, Natural Jake has been taken off already. 5 members strong right here. They were able to get the Transcendent Embrace low HP. A lot of the members want growth on the backline. Cyclone gets in, and they have the exhaust onto the members, but they don't have enough damage to take down even the tank. But
Genie
looking
1.
at this, Genie 1 is moving forward. She's the one who's going to be taking this members. Julie Bear is going to fall together with them. Flowers survived for a bit, but she's going to be taken down. They don't have Spirit Rush. Narda might be able to go here, but I think she's pincer. She's going to be taken down. Hallowedness has been used. She has some CC, but she's going to fall 4 for 2 in favor of D35.
Wow, what a play. And even then, you know what, D35 super good setup, being able to take down a lot of these members from Sharper Esports, but then Lois being caught up by D35 was still able to get 1 kill. So that's still a mini kudos onto this junglers for Sharper Esports. However, what I'm scared of is that D35 at the moment is already at a 5k gold lead up against Sharper Esports.
Yeah, and this, with the gold lead, Infinity, it's looking like their win condition, their Vayne condition is working in their favor. Yes, we made a point in where Celine and Lowis are going to be a threat to the Vayne just because of the Hallowed Miss and the Counter-Strike, but if they're out of cooldowns, Genie 1 could still be a threat to the other members that they have for Sharper Esports.
Oh yeah, and consistently in those team fights, especially the latter part of the team fight, Genie 1 was just able to free hit. No one to contest her, no one to damage, no one to CC. Genie 1 was just going in for the crossbows consistently and even was able to flash in to kill on Lunarize. And I think that is also something that Sharper Esports has to pivot on. They have to target onto Genie 1. They have to CC her to be able to have that advantage when it comes to damage.
Look at the aggression from RP. They even went in Spirit Rush without anything on their front. They would, if that charm was able to hit, could have been a great showing for Narda. But she is still able to get a 1 from that kill.
Yeah, and again, Genie 1, free hit all the time on those team fights. However,
oh no. Infinity, that was unfortunate. Narda didn't have any Spirit Rushes, was able to use the flash, but at least they were able to get the tower in the mid lane.
yeah, Julie Bear will catch up though.
Okay. I thought that Needlework would be able to hit, could have been a kill for them, but looking at the bot lane, this is not a good position for Celine. He doesn't have any flashes though, she's gonna be killed pretty easily with the conversion of D35.
That was unfortunately surprising, right? Because Celine knows and has the information that D35 was just from mid lane. However, Galio's still pushing it.
Okay, that was the decoy, and they tried to commit there. It's a good thing they weren't able to get the spells out of that, but D35 wants to go for a reset. They want to get their items. Looking at the items right now, Infinity, 3 items on the Vayne. This is a warning to Sharper Esports.
Yeah, and it's not just about the 3 items, right? Because we're talking about Wit's End and Phantom Dancer, and these 2 items are also defensive items. This is magic resistance that negates Julie Bear, Nominu, Lunarize, Lois this damage, and Phantom Dancer that gives you shield at a low HP state. So a lot of the defensive capabilities makes it so much harder for GD1 to be able to get killed by Sharper Esports.
Yeah, I am surprised that they're itemizing armor against them. But oh, what a great charm. But Hallowed Mist is going to be popped. Could be a great timing for D35 to go for more fights, because without the Hallowed Mist, that's a long cooldown though.
Yeah, definitely. And they have to consider on the vision and the enemy player location, because from a while ago, those things should not happen. Where Celine just jumps in onto those players, knowing that D35 was just having a 4-man roam into mid lane and bottom quadrant jungle. And that shouldn't happen, especially at this point in time where D35 already has 7k gold lead in 15 minutes.
Yeah. With this D35, I am really looking forward to how Sharper Esports would be able to get them. 3 items would be the item breaking point for Sharper, because right now D35 just has more items. So if they get the 3rd items for this carries that they have, that could be a potential chance. Even if it's scattered, if they get to the back line, if they would be able to get to the back line, that could be a chance.
Yeah, we'll see though. Because right now, Genie 1 has bought a Beef Sword, going into an Infinity Edge potential. And if Genie 1 builds it, it's over. I mean, you also have Quicksilver for Genie 1 as well to consistently deal damage and negate those CCs coming in from Sharper.
Colonel Drake is going to be up. And looking at how Sharper Esports is positioned, they are ready for this. They have the Hero Sentence suit together with a package, but it's taking a bit of time. It's pretty fast, and they're going to be taking it pretty easily. Though Transcendent Embrace would be able to hit with the package right now in front of everybody. It's not a good position for Lunarize, but they still have the Cyclone. Looking at the position right there of Genie 1, she's in front of everybody. They're trying to take down all these members without any front line. She flashes away. They lost 2. This might be the chance. Sharper Esports are chasing down D35. They lost a lot, and they don't have any answers for it.
The turn around from Sharper Esports, what a play coming in from them. D35 might have taken the Infernal Drake, but they lost 4 of their members. And that's it. I mean, if Genie 1 doesn't have a frontliner, this is over for the 3-hit ADC.
Yeah, no more towers though, Infinity, so Mira might want to chase them down, but it's a good thing that this tower hasn't been taken down by Sharper Esports. And we said it a while ago. Back to your point, Infinity, this is when they would have the chance. If they don't have Mira, it would be a big problem for D35.
Yeah, because Mira will be their peeler. Mira would be the one who sponges out the damage. And if Genie 1 doesn't have a frontliner from what we've seen a while ago from that team fight, Genie 1 can't do anything because Genie 1 has to go in on a distance before being able to deal damage. She has to close in onto the enemy front lines, and that is a risky play. So that is something that we have to look forward into for D35. Will Mira still consistently split push? Yes, that would be optional for them. But if that consistently happens, Sharper Esports would have the opportunity and an opening to punish on a 4v5.
They want to get this on a 4v5. They need to bait out Mira every time. And they even have the TP up right now for Celine. So Celine would just use this Hull Breaker. And right now at this point, Mira won't hold a candle against this Sion even if she has 4 items. So Sharper Esports could potentially make use of Celine and just let her go for the split push. Because she has the teleport anyway on this Baron battle. D35 needs to be careful of the vision right now. And they're looking towards it.
Yeah, and just what if Mira just buys a TP? If she wants to consistently split push, if she wants to consistently pressure the side lanes, I think that would be optional for them, and that could be a good thing because Celine also have TPs, and if that happens, D35 will consistently have a disadvantage when it comes to members.
Ooh, too aggressive for Genie 1, but looking at this, Lawis is more aggressive. She was forced to use the Hallowed Mist, even the Ghost, and they can just push out the waves and maybe potentially have a chance here. But looking at this bot lane, we said it a while ago, Celine does have a bigger advantage here because with the counter strike, she has been popped, leave strike together with it. And what is that position about shielding, man? What is that shield? But now Lawis is going to be going here too. I think this could be a chance for them to get the Baron, but they backed away. And no, this is going to be a big problem though. Celine doesn't have the counter strike. Hero's entrance has been used. They use a lot of resources just for this one person. And this might be a chance for Sharper Esports to take the Baron on a 4v5.
Yeah, although the fact is they removed Mira from the table. Remember what we talked about a while ago, the meat shield is going to be very important. With Mira out of the gate, D35 just has to stall for 30 seconds, not give away for Sharper Esports for the Baron Nashor nor the Elder Drake. And this is such an important key factor. And the thing was, a while ago, Mira was hesitating, because there was 4 members from Sharper Esports into the mid lane, so she cannot go into the mid lane, and therefore she is dead. D35 though.
Yeah, great takeoff. They were able to get the kill. Lowers is now in front. Needlework is dealing a lot of damage onto them. Nulrera is right there. He's going to be able to take the kill, but Genie 1 is in front of everybody. Exhaust is there. They have the barrier. She survives, but Celine is still at this. She's very strong. She can go in, but Jarisa, just to be careful from here. Condemn has been used. Counter-Strike would be able to follow them up, and Genie 1 is still in a very, very dangerous position. 2-4-3, or rather 2-4-2.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like, Mira could have just went straight into Vayne, was able to turn things around, because that was a 3v3. It was Jax, it was Gwen, and it was Julie Bear. They have the AP advantage because Jarisa also has the ultimate from that point in time. But Mira still pat themselves into the bottom side, which was not that ideal into the scenario. And I get the point of defending the turret, but in those situations, kills are important and defending your teammates are important, and that would be
Yeah.
key for D35 in winning. So I'm looking at Mira right now, like what would be the next step for this? Is she now going with a team? Is she now going in for those team fights? What will happen on the objectives now, considering the Baron and Elder Drake is alive?
Yeah, and oh man, this is looking pretty bad for D35 because they haven't maintained the formation that they need to go for against Sharper. Because if they maintain that for position, because Mira is not always in the fight, and that's going to be a big problem for D35. They need to go for this 5v5 fights. Let Celine go for the split push. It's okay. Maybe get your own teleport just for her to be in the fight herself. Because honestly, at this point, D35 needs a Mira in their fights.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Because as of right now, everyone playing very safe at this point, which I think would be sufficient because 21 minutes into the game, one team fight can end the game.
Yeah. The death timers are really, really high. So whatever happens, they need to not give any more kills to Sharper Esports. Yes, it's a 5k gold lead, but at this point, it doesn't really matter for the side of Sharper because almost all of them have 4 items anyway. So D35 needs to get that last item in order for them to gain the advantage. Right now, Elder Dragon and the Baron are still up and nobody's trying to take it.
Yeah, I think D35 is building onto items already. If you're looking at how D35 is padding their items, Genie 1 to be more specific, I think the next item would potentially be a GA. And if the GA is there, with Phantom Dancer and Wit's End along with it, it's so hard to kill her.
Number 2. Yeah, chance number 2 is always going to be welcome for D35 having the Guardian Angel for Genie 1. But until now, she might need... Yeah, after she backs away, I think she has the Guardian Angel now. So that's good. Because if ever this happens, Elder Dragon could potentially be started by them.
Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Because right now, the better team that has a better lane control, that has a better lane advantage, has a better lane prio, would have a better lead onto those objectives, considering that both these teams no longer has their tier 1 turrets ready.
Yeah. And with the towers, it's 4-5. It's almost as equal as it can get. That's why D35 can't even start it off. They're not feeling the advantage that they had a while ago.
Yeah. Right now, GA already secured by Genie 1. This is what we were looking for a while ago. Ari also locked in onto all of items. And so far, we're nearing that point wherein gold will no longer be of matter, but team fights would be.
Yeah. One more key team fight, as he said, Infinity. One more fight, and it could all end. And it's not going in favor of D35. We've seen it a while ago. We've said it a while ago. The longer this game goes, the more DPS Sharper Esports has. And that's why it's pretty scary for them to even start anything against them right now. D35 was forced to use the Hallowed Missile already, and they had a Transcendent Embrace of the Tree! Cyclone! They have this! Genie is still safe, but they have one down with the Guardian Angel has been popped. Hero Center is going to be used. RB still surviving with 1 HP, with a sliver of health, and force back. Elder Drake could be started by Sharper.
They have to reset. They have to reset because if they start the Elder Drake, this is going to be a HP disadvantage, especially that Selena is very low. D35 as well. RP is low as well. It's not looking that great for D35. They did not reset.
Yeah. Okay, RP now resetting, going for the recall, but D35 was quite scared of them taking the Elder Drake, because whoever takes the Elder Drake, Infinity, it probably is done. It's probably in their favor already. So that's why D35 doesn't want to let Sharper Esports go for that. And remember, it's going to be pretty fast if Sharper Esports starts it.
Yeah, HP Execute is just so much of value right now. 25 minutes into the matchup of this game number 2 in the series. Remember, D35 is already at match point, 1 win away to win the series.
Yeah, they want to win this as fast as they could, though. This is not good position. Charm has been hit. They have RP in front of everybody. Transcendent Embrace was able to hit on Narda. Here's Rush. They're still up. She does have 2 charges left, though. Narda wasn't able to hit the Charm. Now she's on low HP. That's a scary position to be in.
Yeah, Sharper Esports now has the advantage. Narda have 0 HP left. They have to reset once more, and this is the battle of wits. the battle of perseverance and the battle of the mental fortitude that we've consistently talking about in each and every single tournament. Because D35, 25 minutes into the matchup, this is a lot of stress going through on each and every single player.
What they don't need here is for the side of D35 to make any more mistakes. Guardian Angel is up for Genie 1, and they popped the Guardian Angel of Lunar Rise a while ago. That's a 1 win that they had from D35. But Sharper Esports, they're not going to be just giving this to them. The Charm was able to hit, though. They still have some Cyclones to work with, but it's not enough. Lowis is very, very tanky at this point. At least they popped the Needlework already in the Ghost, so D35 has some leeway.
Yeah. Remember, Celine has TP as well. Oh, well, not anymore,
Oh,
but...
man, that damage.
Whoa.
Yeah, and we've said it a while ago. Blade of the Ruin King with the Divine Thunder Infinity, that's a lot of damage onto this tank.
Yeah, absolutely. And no more Flash for Mira as well, so that is a huge summoner spell burned by Celine himself, or herself rather, in a 1v1 on top lane.
They're still at each other's ends. And nobody is taking any risk to Infinity. They don't want to lose this game. That's why even D35 is looking towards victory. That's why they're not letting themselves make any blunders from all their moves.
Yeah, it's just so much risk on getting those objectives because positioning is the king at this late of a game. 27 minutes, that is all that matters. How you would position yourself, how would you go for team fights.
No.
And going in for objectives will put you at a disadvantage.
No more damage. They're starting the Elder Drake at this point, though. Look at the Sharper Esports. Lowis is starting the Elder Drake by herself without any info from D35. This is going to be bad. Infinity, they're starting it. They're going to be ending it at any time soon. D35 caught wind. Maybe it's too late. Let's take a look at the Elder Drake, because right now, Lowis is going to be ending this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no!
This is the winning condition. Sharper Esports. They now have Elder Drake. They have HP Execute up against D35.
We can definitely say that they can just buy time until the Elder buff is down. But if they don't, try to take any risk. Baron can also be taken by Sharper Esports. But right now, looking at their position, they don't have any wards on this part of the map. So this Death Brush might be effective.
Yeah, but Sharper Esports, they will for sure force out fights. Look at Genie 1!
Okay, Genie 1 gonna be the target. Flash has been used already. Look at the backline. Needlework won't be able to hit anyone, but at least they were able to burn some flashes from D35. But RP wants to take the inhibitor turret. That's a lot of risk to take for D35.
And that forces out the TP. Look at Lois though, and look at Karma.
Lois gonna go for RP. They want to take him down, and this is gonna be her falling pretty easily. Guardian Angel is popped, and she won't be able to get away from this. She doesn't have any flashes anymore. Transcendent Embrace, but was able to get away with a decoy, and the Wild Growth was there for good measure.
Yeah, because if not, the HP Execute will probably go into effect and kill RP. So that's clever move coming from D35, but they've used up 2 key ultimates on Lulu and Wukong.
3 flashes also. Infinity, D35, not a good position to be in. Yes, they have the items, but it's looking pretty scary right now. The Sharper Esports with the Elder Drake, it's gonna be hard to fight against them, and we've seen it in action a while ago. D35 was struggling to do anything against them.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, gold at this stage is no longer useful.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
No longer significant rather for both these teams because everyone is going towards the lockdown items. So the position is the better importance. The team fight coordination, the players, the ganks, the lane coordination or the lane prio for both these teams are the one that we need to look at.
Yeah. D35 having big problems. Sharper Esports, they're more confident. I like this from Sharper. They want to get that win that D35 got a while ago for a 1-0. Now they want to get this to a 1-1. And looking at how the items are going to go, Sharper Esports are more confident that they can deal with this. Stasis also has been bought by Celine. She doesn't want to go to the other side or to the lanes anymore. And Mira might be on a big disadvantage because she just bought this teleport just now.
Yeah, we'll see though. It's on cooldown for now, so not going to be An advantage for D35 temporarily while waiting for that cooldown, but looking at their positioning, they're wanting to go for a potential depth rush, but a ward is there. Sharper has information.
Yeah, they want to get in as fast as they could, though. Remember, they had the counter-strike to the Hero Census. They were not going to be taking that pretty easily. RP might be the target here onto the back line. They got one, though. That's going to be big. And now Sharper Esports wants to answer back with the needle work, taking them down. And this is going to be easy for them to do. They don't have the damage. Genie 1 is still surviving. RP is down. It's a 4v5. They got the Guardian Angel down, but D35 lost one member.
Yeah, no more Elder Drake buff though, so they are able to burn this buff from Sharper Esports. Now, even level playing field once more, but RP being gone opens up the opportunity for Sharper to go for Baron.
This game is nerve-wracking, Infinity. 30 minutes on the clock. One mistake could end it all. 20 seconds, RP is down. So they can start this. They even have the package on Lunarize. They can take this Baron pretty easily. That is looking pretty fast. But looking at D35, they want to fight this, so they have the package. Ascended Embrace was able to hit on GD1. They're stopping the Baron. They're going onto the target. Cereza going to be the target. They're forced to flash away. They're chasing them down. But at least they were able to stop this Baron from happening.
No TP from RP. She's walking. She's walking.
RP, no TP. They can walk.
It's fine though.
They can still go. And I like that T35 is starting this off. They're trying to take matters in their own hands. They want to get the Baron. They don't have the heal work. Lawis doesn't have the ghost. They can start this pretty fast though. Lawis might be able to get the steal here. Howlfist is there.
Oh!
They got the Elder Dragon. This might be the chance for T35. They have the status. They're getting out the backline. Transcendent Embrace now too. And that's going to be big. And they are looking at the backline. Look at Celine. She's in front of everybody. Genie 1 is down. And they don't have enough to fight back. Even with the Elder Dragon. They survived for a bit, but Miro is also going to fall down. 40 seconds of the clock, and that's going to be Sharper Esports wanting to end this game.
They could end. As you stated, Sharper Esports has a 3-man alive up against D35. 30 seconds on the clock. They could definitely end this game.
They want to end this game. Looking at it, Sharper Esports through thick and thin with this composition. Work it out. Even without the front to back, it didn't matter because if you reach this point in the game, this 3-man carry for the Sharper Esports composition, they were able to win it in the end.
And we're going to game 3! What a game, what a series so far. I mean, a lot of expectations on the line from both these teams, but in the end, Sharper Esports prevailed up against D35. You know, the utilities that they have, and Lunarize, Noise, and Celine being there as a damage dealer, like, put them on a pedestal that turned things around.
I thought that Elder Dragon being taken was enough, but Sharper Esports at this point, it's really crazy that every one of them just dealt so much damage. Even the Transcendent Embrace from Judy Bear was enough to mow down the members of D35, getting them to half HP. And Sharper Esports, man, Lawis and Lunarize were just... And even Julie Bear dealt so much damage during the whole game. And it's pretty hard to move for Genie 1 just because this Vayne, Celine and Lawis was picked. This Jax and Gwen was picked to counter the Vayne. And that's why Genie 1 found it hard to get kills by her own.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the ultimates of Julie Bear was phenomenal. I mean, those were a lot of AoE CCs, how they were able to just go in onto team fights. And this is what we talked about a while ago in the draft, right? When it comes to team fight, Sharper Esports has the edge. These are all AoE CC champions. Julie Bear has the ultimate, has the tether. Galio has the taunt, has the ultimate as well with Hero's Entrance. Lunarize with a package can knock down enemy teams and can also deal a lot of AoE damage. Lois can just go into the front and be safe with the skills that she has. Celine has the counter strike for AoE stun. So there is a lot of utilities that Sharper Esports can utilize up against D35, wherein what they have is Genie 1. They have to go all in for a free hitting ADC, but if that cannot happen, they're not gonna win on those team fights.
Yeah, and I like that Sharper Esports played that long game pretty well. Honestly, Julie Bear is also the most undervalued character in this whole game because Julie Bear, as you said, the Transcendent Embraces were so good together with the Heroes Engines. That's why they can get away with the Jax and even the Gwen just going in against them. And now with this, we have ourselves a series here in Infinity. We're going to game 3 for our next game. But before that, we're just going to be taking a short break. We're having your casters. My name is Dash and I'm here with Infinity. See you guys in just a bit. And welcome back, everybody, to the FSL Wild Rift Open 5, powered by Yahoo and Intel. And again, we're going to be shoutcasters for today. My name is Dash, and I'm here with Infinity, and we have a Game 3 for today.
Yeah, game 3! And that game 2 was a massacre. Like,
Yeah.
it went to 30 minutes. Like, when was the last time we saw a game that went that far?
Yeah, it is too long, especially for the composition that we're talking about. It's Sharper Esports having 3 late game carries on their comp, and we've been saying that it will be hard for them to get this 3 item breakpoints for all these champions, but it didn't really matter because they hit the 30-minute mark, and all those 3 champions got their items, and that was pretty scary against D35.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, but either way, we have a game 3 on our hands, and that's a good thing for the broadcast. Like, we see a lot more games, we see a lot more variety, and we see a lot more of this intense matchups from all these teams. And being that this is a game 3, I don't know what to expect, because looking at that game 2, I think these 2 teams are quite on an even level playing field.
Yeah. Right now, even banning... Oh, Sharper Esports banning the Vayne even. They don't want to see that Vayne from Genie 1 again. But D35 wants to see more of this Gwen being banned. So Lowis isn't going to be picking that up for the next game. If ever they're going to be picking something else, I think the Kaisa could work well with Genie 1. Unless she's tired of all the tumbling that she did during the last game. I hope they would do something else. Try to adapt from what happened during the last one.
What other champions tumble? Now I'm curious. Probably no one.
Teemo?
Right? Oh yeah, Teemo. Hey, Teemo, Genie. Hey, maybe. No, I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. Who goes Teemo bot lane?
They're not gonna be picking that. I mean, Ginny's not gonna keep picking that at least. But here, looking at D35, I like the fact that Mirror has been picking a lot of the Scion. Because what they want to do with the Scion is just get the tanks again. But the problem there is if you're picking the Scion first, Sharper Esports won't be afraid to pick a late game carry, like the Jax that we had a while ago.
I think what would happen here, the third pick for D35 would be Lulu. And then what they could pivot themselves toward is the Kaisa later on for 4th pick or 5th pick. Because at this point in time, Sharper Esports is going for Illusion. They're going in for these, the Karma, the Jax as well. So that could be the option for D35, because if not, Lulu is going to be banned away. They're going to be forced to pick up the Galio or something else later on.
Yeah. With this Lulu, oh man, the Jax that has been picked again. This is really surprising for me. They had the Lucian, the Jax, and the Karma. We have seen a Seraphine a while ago. Played pretty well. This is a lot of CC from D35. But what are they going to be picking to be their anchor? Who's going to be doing the damage?
This is really, really interesting. Now they picked up the Seraphine. Are they going for a funnel composition wherein they're going to pick up Seraphine, they're going to pick up Lulu later on? Or maybe a Sona?
I think Lulu's going to be banned.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But they could pivot themselves onto more of the funnel composition. But the question is, who are they going to funnel? Is it Kaisa? Is it Corki? Like, who would that champion be as a carry for D35?
Kaisa is... If they let the Kaisa go away here from the Sharper Esports side, it's okay. Kaisa, you can deal with the Kaisa. And the Seraphine, with the Riven getting picked, I think the Kaisa is going to be the support. Or rather, the Seraphine, sorry. Seraphine's going to be the support here. But with that, the Nami. I think Infinity, they're going for the... Yeah, as you said, this is... It's all down to Genie 1 again on the D35 side.
Yeah, like I think it's expected, right? Because Lulu was quite a significant player there for D35 a while ago, so I was expecting maybe a Lulu coming into the 3rd pick instead as a priority, because Seraphine's not gonna be banned away, I don't think. I think that could have been a better option for them, but I think they're waiting for the right opportunity to choose and to have options for them
Oh
for
no.
this 4th and 5th pick. But for Sharper Esports, locking onto the Braum means that Karma will be their mid laner, with Braum being the support, Lucian as their AD carry.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of calculating what they can go for here, Infinity. Yes, they can go for Corki, but with this composition, I think they can get away with the Jinx. Or yeah, or Tristana, someone who has
Tristana.
long range. Yeah, I was thinking about that because with the Seraphine, with the Nami, they can just funnel out this long range champion. When the Tristana that they have, yes, they have the early game power of the Tristana with the rocket jump. And what's great about that is that the late game of Tristana is crazy because nobody could reach her. And she has the longest range in the game at level 15.
Yeah.
So, Sharper Esports, what they need to do here is... Oh, wait. They still have the same Julie Bear going for the Karma bot lane. I think this is scary, Infinity, because Tristana is hard to deal with.
Don't tell me they're going for a double support bot lane again. And it's interesting. It's interesting because it's now going to be a Lucian Seraphine individual lineup matchup, and Karma up against Tristana. I don't know, but this is going to be an interesting. They made it work in game number 2. Maybe they could make it work once again in this game number 3. But I like what you've mentioned a while ago. The potential for Tristana to be able to scale up in this game is heavily relying towards the late game once again. So Genie 1's playstyle is a late game type of champions. And then on top of all that, Nami would be complementary onto Tristana because of the extra damage, extra movement speed, and stuff like that. And on top of the range that you've mentioned, Rocket Jump would also be significant into snowballing all throughout the fight. 1 kill, Rocket Jump, CD down. So you could just jump around, get into repositioning every time in a team fight.
And what I can say here, Infinity, I'm scared of the Tristana because we don't usually see a Tristana, right? We don't usually see a Tristana. The Tristana has a lot of siege. That is one of the problems that I'm seeing. It's basically a Ziggs with a lot more damage and a lot more siege potential. They can take a lot of towers too. I forgot that fact a while ago, but that is what's scary about the Tristana. But they can make it work because the power spike of a Tristana is basically like a valley. Early game, she's strong. Mid game, she's gonna fall a bit. Then late game, she's gonna be strong again. So that mid game could be used by Sharper Esports, and that's where Lucian comes in. Lucian might be the key here for Sharper Esports to win against them.
Yeah, I mean, if they punish Tristana early on and just deal so much of a huge deficit of against D35, that could be their winning condition, as you stated. Looking at the Braum, they have a lot of utilities as well with the Karma. So a lot of expectations on the line here, but I am going to stick with what I've said a while ago. I don't know what to expect in this game number 3 because these two teams look to be like an even level setting when it comes to their power, when it comes to their capacity and capability in the Rift.
We don't usually see a Tristana though. That's why we're not really sure.
We're going back. We're going back with
the
Tristana.
Yeah, we're going back to the past meta during season 0, right? So this is, what can I say, Infinity? All I can say is that I was favoring this matchup until they went in for the bot lane, Julie Bear and Nemo Yu here in the bot lane. This could have been better if Lunar Rise was here, because the Braum Lucian combo in the bot lane, it's easy to take down this bot lane.
Plus, Julie Bear can solo the mid lane, farm, get XP by herself, get to level 5 much more quickly, and able to respond on top lane if ever it comes down into providing more speed onto Jax, providing more speed onto Fiora, providing more utility onto the mid lane, top lane, and if ever, wherever Wukong goes, right? So this is really interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Infinity, because it's way better to neutralize a Seraphine lane than to neutralize a Tristana lane. Because if you neutralize the Seraphine lane with a Karma, it's okay, because Julie Bear is just going to be farming together with the Seraphine. I mean, if they get the farms, it's okay. It's something that they want, but not something that they need. But what they need for Sharper Esports was supposedly to shut down Genie 1. Because we know how scary Genie 1 is, especially as an ADC.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just a while ago, we've seen the potential of Genie's Vayne, right? It's so
Yeah.
powerful of what she was able to do. Just the lack of the sponge to peel for herself just disabled her overall. But in fact, right now you have Nami, you have Seraphine already to funnel through onto Genie 1 with with much more sustainability and with much more CCs rather. This could be a potential for Genie 1 to be able to, punish Sharper.
Yeah, Sharports, what they want to do right here is to get the early game in their favor because they have the Lucian and the Lucian in their hands. But what's great about this though is that the late game they have some insurance too. They have the Fiora, they have the Jax again. So it's 2 versus 1 again in the late game, which is pretty scary. But Narda though doesn't even need to use the flash, but that was pretty scary. If Lunarize flashed in, could have been a kill for her.
Oh yeah, definitely. That could have been a kill. But unfortunately, it won't be. And I think that's really good for Narda at the very least, because Narda still has her ultimate, so if ever that root comes in, the Encore will be there. That's what I'm talking about. Forcing out the flash for Lunarize.
Forcing the flash just with the Encore. That is the fight that you need to back away from, especially when Narda has the holds. That is going to be scary. But right now, from what we're seeing, Infinity, so far everything has been very equal, and I hope this moves pretty well for both of our teams.
Yeah, and we're going for trip down memory lane. In game number 2, Julie Bear had one of the most damage for Sharper Esports, and all crowd game number 2 as well compared to D35. So I think, like, regardless, even if we're quite critical onto like the lane positionings for Sharper Esports' draft, we should not be, belittle. We should not belittle how Julie Bear will be able to play this specific champion in the bottom lane, and has also the potential to carry the team on her back.
Yeah. D35 right now with what they do have. They need to get this onto the objective, 4 minutes on the clock, but nobody has been getting a lot of kills, not even for D35. I was expecting Genie 1 to get a bit of kills on the bottom lane, but because Nemo went in for the Braum, it's not easy to just rocket jump in against them. So Sharper Esports are just neutralizing this lane, as we said a while ago, Infinity. So D35 are adjusting, and this might be pretty scary for them in the long run.
Yeah. RP though, hovering on mid lane. That's just a waste of time, I guess. No trades, no gold, no XP has been accumulated from her just staying on the mid lane. And that's the big thing. And that's a big thing, right? When it comes to jungle padding, when it comes to junglers overall, you have to utilize your time well, and you have to utilize your pads well. Because if you just stay over on a position without doing nothing, and that's just losing time and losing gold, losing experience, not being such efficient. So I think that's also consideration to keep in mind. Generally, not talking about this specific game, but just a general idea overall.
Yeah, 5 seconds of the clock for them to take the referral to the Ocean Drake. Right now for D35, what we're seeing is that this damage from Julie Bear pretty scary with that Luden's Echo being built up. And starting off with the Mori Quick Blades on Ginny. So this, she wants to really siege. And right now, they're trying to start this fight. Infinity, they are going in. They have the dash glacial pressure to push them back. And they have the buster shot to get with it. They were able to stop it out. And that ultimate is not going to work. First blood onto them. And they got the referral too. And Sharper Esports takes 2 in the grave.
Wow. The tidal wave being cancelled became so significant in that fight. Because if not, that could have a 3-man knockup for D35 from Jerisa alone. So there's just too much of value for Sharper Esports. They were able to take down the Rift Herald. They were able to take down 2 more kills along with it. And that turned out into a 2k gold lead for them.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing here, the ultimate has been used, Encore has been popped already. Great timing with the riposte from Narda. And now, that is, even the flash has been used by Narda. And with that, D35 gets away with this bot lane. Laris is not here, so this is going to be an easy Ocean Drake take.
Yeah, although Julie Bear is there, Lunarize as well, the ultimates are ready for Karma to use. Not going for the contest, as you've stated, will be an objective takedown for D35, and along with it is a potential tower first blood in the top lane.
Yeah, And with this right now, though, I like that we're seeing a lot of potential for this top side, though. Look at this, though. Nardo was able to get it. She was able to get one more, and Mira, they sacrificed themselves just for them to take the tower.
Yeah. Although it's an injection of gold, not that ideal, because it's still a 1k gold lead for Sharper Esports nevertheless.
Now, D35. Woo, woo, woo. This is pretty bad. The start of this Sharper Esports is just getting these wins right here, Infinity. I'm not sure about this, though, but D35, they need Ginny to be getting stronger as fast as they could.
Yeah. Genie now building into RFC? Is that RFC? Not particularly sure, but building onto more crits would be ideal. I think the third item potential for Genie 1 would be the Infinity Edge. Deals so much damage. So look at Genie 1 later on. The third item would be critical into the power spike of D35 as a whole.
Yeah. The D35, they want to start this off with Hullbreaker onto Mira too. But right now, Infinity, what do you think they can do here for D35? Because right now, Sharper Esports, I said it a while ago, that they need to get... The late game is in their favor because it's basically a 2v1 against Ginny, and they even have Julie Bear when it comes to the damage. So, what can they do? Because right now, they lost that early game advantage, supposedly.
What can they do? I think just play towards late game. I think regardless, even if they have the disadvantage, I think they could still play it out. Because Genie 1 is there. And even if you have Julie Bear in a Karma, in the counterpart for D35, they also have Seraphine. They also have Nami, which are AoE CC champions. They have RP as well with Wukong to go in for the engage. So regardless, I think at that point, they still just have to rely on Genie 1 to scale, to deal damage, and to carry the team.
What's hard about this Infinity is that they have Unbreakable too from Nimanu, so even with the CCs from the Encore and the Tidal Wave, it could easily be eaten by Braum. So Nimanu is the key reason why D35 is struggling with their ultimates.
Yeah, but I mean, that's applicable all throughout the game, right? From early game, mid game, late game. So I think that is out of the proportion, out of the question from this matchup in game number 3. So regardless, I still do believe, I think their heavily reliance on Genie 1 would be so important. But I think what they could have changed from game 2 going into this game number 3 is how Mira will be playing for her team rather than going consistently on the side lanes, pit pushing. They need to have Mira on those crucial team fights.
Good. Honestly, Celine is... Oh, looking at this, though, they can take this pretty easily, though. That's going to be the rip held on their side. Mira was able to push back a lot of the members. They didn't have Lowry's there. But, oh, the timing with the Tidal Wave Unbreakable would not break it for them. And that's going to be the Glacial Fissure used to with the stasis. He does have the flash to get away from this, but a lot of CC has been piled up on their heads. And D35 are taking the mid lane tower to get it with.
And this is what we're talking about. The combo of Narda and Jarisa's ultimate will be crucial. And if Braum is not there to defend and to block it, it is going to be in favor of D35 on those team fights because of this crucial AoE CCs. And with Rift Herald there, they're able to push in 2-tier turrets in the mid lane that opens up the map in their favor.
Mid lane turret is down, and the problem here is Mountain Drake is going to be up in a bit, and Sharper Esports would have no priority at the mid-top part, or rather mid-bot parts of the map, so D35 could use that in their favor. As long as Mira is pushing right now, they can push that wave, try to take the turret, and maybe get more advantage, more vision on this Drake that is coming up, because looking at this though, Celine is also on the top side.
Yeah, we'll see, because right now, it's a 4v5. If ever Sharper Esports goes in for a full-on engage, they have to respect the potential for D35. And in similar manner, someone has to go top lane. Because if not, that tier 2 turret is going to go down.
Yeah. This tower is going to go down, and even Narda is going to go down in the mid lane. Stasis has been used. They have some riposte to work with onto Lowis. Oh, the timing's just right with the riposte. They still have some Cyclones though, but they have exhausted a lot of resources just for them to save themselves from that mistake. And now D35 going for the Mountain Drake.
Loi's mechanical play is so good from those fights, consistently countering out the Encore. But now fight may
Look at this fight. Infinity, they have some holds on the 3 people. The Unbreakable was able to stop the Tidal Wave onto the Glacial Fissure. Backline has been breached, and they need to flash away. Narda is going to fall here, and they are really fighting still onto the Drake Pit. This is going to be bad. Genie 1 takes 1. They have some ultimates to work with, though, so this is going to be bad with Unstoppable Onslaught. Counter-Strike has been used. He has been popped already. Selene is going to fall down, and this might be a chance for Genie 1 to take this on their favor. D35 is not yet done. 3-4-2. They got the advantage, and the Drake with it.
That was so good. I mean, Genie 1 was just re-hitting all throughout that team fight, and that was significant. And yes, you have Jarisa's ultimate being cancelled by Braum, but at that point, it was Narda who triple man rooted Sharper Esport, and on top of that, you also have Genie 1 free-hitting all throughout that fight, with Jarisa funneling all the utilities onto Genie 1. So just so much of damage, so much of value. And in turn, they got a lot of kills, now putting them at a 1k, 2k gold lead.
Yeah, this is much of a advantage than I expected from D35, honestly. Infinity, man, this is such a game. This is a game that we have right now. And I do hope that D35 is going to follow through with this. They got 2 Drakes already. They haven't had any mistakes during the last 3 minutes. But Sharper Esports, looking at what they're doing, they're also stalling the game Infinity. They want to get to the late game. That's why Selene is always right here onto the side lanes, just trying to put on the pressure. And the problem here is, nobody could 1v1 Selene. That is going to be a big problem later on for D35.
Yeah, and allow me to track back a bit. Because Miro was there on a team fight on the Drake, they were able to win. But now D35 going for the Baron Nashor, this is quite risky.
This is too fast though. They don't have the items just yet for them to be starting this. I think Sharper Esports could have a better chance here, but they have the hold. They have the Unbreakable still on Nimonu. They're going to be resetting this Baron. Selene is also here. There's going to be a 5v4, 4k HP. They want to take this down in their favor. The Unbreakable has been popped. I think Braum is going to fall down. Aqua around the tree! And they're going to be taking the ball down with the knockups onto RP. And they are still surviving for so long. Look at this. Sharper Esports are backing away. D35 are chasing them down. Selene wants to be taken down. Counter-Strike. Is that going to be helpful? The loud Buster shot. No, it's not going to be a kill. I thought that could have been it. But everybody survives on both sides, Infinity.
Their eyes caught, but they're not destined to be. Oh my goodness, that was so close. So risky for both these teams. But the shocking part is, no casualties have been done.
I don't know. Why? Why did it happen? A lot of the members from both sides, they were able to get away even without using the flashes, like Nimonu, Lowers, and even Selene wasn't able to flash away, but it was not needed. But D35, this is a better showing from them. They're using their range. They're using their front to back right now, and that is what's scary for Sharper Esports here.
Yeah, and the CC potential, once again, we're going to reiterate it for D35. Narda and Jarisa will be significant in those team fights, in those plays for D35 to put the tides in their favor. Pun intended, right? Because it's one thing to have ultimates for Narda, it's one thing to have ultimates for Nami, but you also have roots coming in from Narda. You also have RP with Cyclone, with knockouts, with Engage. So it's just too much. And this is what we've seen a parallel version of from this series before, wherein you have Galio, you have Karma, you have Jax. This is similar for D35. You have a lot of AoE CCs to put those team fights at your advantage.
Yeah, Unbreakable could just take so much. Yes, it's there, but it could only take probably 1 or 2 of their ultimates. So right now they're using it in here. Concussive Blows has been used though. Encore would be used also onto their side though in order for them to save RP. That's 2 ultimates down for the side of D35. Sharper Esports, they know what to do. I like that.
Definitely. I mean, saving a man's life is much more important than using up your ultimates, right? So I think in turn is really good for D35. That's an amazing feat, but they have to stall out because Narda's ultimate and RP's ultimate are huge ultimates to not have in team fights.
Whew. Ooh. Right now, the gold lead is not that big, Infinity. We have 1k gold lead on both sides. Sharper Esports is taking the help at this point. So it's almost a 2k gold lead, but at this point, it doesn't really reflect that much on what's happening around. Because right here, D35 does have 2 Drakes, and Sharper Esports needs to contest this. Almost at the 3-item breaking point here for Sharper. So this is going to be very scary for D35. This is basically what happened during game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going to 30 minutes, maybe. But maybe not. Maybe not as well.
If ever we head into 30 minutes, I think Sharper has a better chance here, Infinity. Just because of the fact that they have a lot of damage again on their team.
Oh,
but
yeah.
here, looking at this though, Nimanu was able to get the concussive blows and calling has been popped. Glacial pressure is going to be used, but they have the unbreakable onto the
Encore
backline.
3!
RP, great encore on the 3 with the Cyclones together with it. They have some down on the side of Sharper. This is going to be good for D35 because they're very healthy at this point. RP is down, but they still have a lot of CC. They're backing away from the spike. And what? Nobody
No
died
casualties
Infinity.
again? Yeah, that was crazy. I don't believe it. Am I watching Wild Rift?
I don't know what's happening. Why are they surviving every time? Because every time they can have damage, they can still get away from that fight. Oh man. The dashes from Sharper Esports are letting them get away with it.
This is shocking. This is new. And this is not common in League of Legends Wild Rift. But
Yeah.
regardless, I think at this point in time, there's a lot of pressures on the shoulders of Sharper Esports and in the 35 shoulders as well. There is a lot of
Scary.
thinking to do. What do we have to strategize towards? So I think this is really scary. But in that process, Sharper Esports able to take the Infernal Drake is sneaky.
That was important though, for them to take the Infernal Drake, because we said a while ago they needed some, or they had damage and they needed more, and that's why they were able to get it. So with this, the Infernal Drake would just help them out when it comes down to it, and the later the game goes, Celine would be much more of a threat in the side lanes compared to Mira, even if Mira does have more items than her. Right now, looking at it, they are equal when it comes to gold, and that is a scary position to be in as a tank.
Yeah, but look at this, Dash. Genie 1. How many items?
3.
3 items now. So we have to look at how Genie 1 will play this game, because with IE and Solari Charge Blade along with Novaris,
Yeah.
those damage are gonna hurt.
Yeah. She would have a lot of rocket jumps for sure. That is... And even with the Solari Charge Blade, that increases her value a lot more. But, here's the thing. Sharper Esports has the Fiora. If Fiora gets into the back line, that's what's scary. So D35 needs to make sure that nobody gets there. Mira is going to be key here for them on this Elder Drake fight that we're going to be having in just a bit. Infinity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 18 seconds, 15 seconds before the Elder Drake comes up. Very important. If D35 takes this, there's a lot of advantage to utilize. In similar manner, Sharper Esports as well, we utilize this very, very good. But we'll see though. TPs are ready for both Mira and Celine as well on the side lanes. But how would this turn out in a team fight?
Yeah. When it comes to team fights, Blade of the Ruined Kings are king when it comes to the objectives. So Sharper Esports has a better hand in taking this pretty fast compared to D35 right now. So what D35 is doing is that they're baiting out the members right here of Sharper to try and take the Drake, because they can take it as fast. They need to be careful around this parts of the jungle, because just one hit of any CC on D35, it would look pretty bad on them.
Right. They're going for the Elder Drake. No information for D35.
Oh no, it's the same thing as what happened during game 2. This is going to be bad for D35. They're starting it already. Look at that. They have the tidal wave onto the back line. They got on Encore 2. Together with the bubble, they were able to hit it, but a lot of members are falling right here. scattered. Sharper Esports don't know where to go, but Genie 1 moves forward. Rocket Jump, that's not good. They still have a chance to take this. Lawrence goes in, won't be able to steal it, and they have the Elder Drake. That's gonna be the chance for D35 to end this all, and Lawrence will be able to back away. They want to take the Baron, or they want to end this 3-4-0 for D35.
And this is the disadvantage we're talking about. If you start the objective, if you start a dragon, if you start a Baron Nashor, when you are there, you're using up your skills, you're using up your damage, or your AP is depreciating. And D35 with Narda and Jarisa there, their ultimates are powerful.
That's gonna be the end of it. Lawrence is gonna fall, Lunarize is gonna be next, and they want to end this game. D35 don't want any more long games. And game 3 is theirs to take, and they got the win against Sharper Esports.
What a series on our hands, Dash. What a game that we have just watched. Sharper Esports almost there, but D35 have closed it out for a win in this series.
Wow, what a great showing there. Infinity, this game, I was I was on my toes the whole time, Infinity, because D35 with their composition, yes, they are a front to back composition, but the longer the game goes, Sharper Esports had the advantage. Sharper Esports got away with it during game 2 because the game took too long. But here, D35 made their decisions, one snap, one kill, one objective. That's what they did. And that's why they were able to get the win at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and look at the damage of Narda. 23k. Like, how?
I think Infinity, even our games a while ago, the Seraphine players have been getting a lot of damage just because they're always hitting their skills.
Yeah.
And looking at this though, even though that we hyped up Celine a while ago, because she wasn't in any fights, she wasn't even able to deal any damage. And considering that there's also a lot of CC, she can't even hack back against D35.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I hope for the future to see something like stats for seconds of crowd control done by a specific player.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah,
Because if we have that information, I think Narda would be one of the highest CC dealer for this game number 3.
yeah, if it's just duration, if you ask me, I think Sharper Esport, or rather Narda, would have that on her. But there's also a lot of CCs from D35. I think nobody would be down there because everybody of them was helping out when it comes to the TC, the tidal wave, the bubbles, the decimation smash, and even the cyclones from RP are really key for them to defend Genie 1. And even during that Elder Drake fight, it was a pretty hard fight to grasp because Sharper Esports was inside the Dragon's Pit, and they were not sure where they're going to be positioning. They got scattered, and that's how D35 went in for the Jiggler. They went in for the kill there.
Yeah, amazing stuff. What a day that we've had in Wild Rift Open 5. I mean, this is only day 1. We also have day 2 tomorrow. And I don't know, I feel like tomorrow is going to be a brawl.
Yeah. Let us take a look at the brackets before that, Infinity, because let's see who are going to be fighting against each other here. Oh, okay. We're now seeing D35 and Pikachu fighting each other for the lower round 3. And with this, Roy Esports Ladies has been taken off. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like, how
Pikachu.
did this happen? And a while ago, before the series has started, before the game 3 have started, we were talking about in our respective channels, like, both the lower bracket round number 2 went to game number 3. And this is like how the power has been exponentially increasing all throughout the tournament so far that we don't know really what to expect. The drafts are such a variety each and every single time. The items are there to be adapting. Like, the teams are constantly evolving into each and every single series, and they're improving quite significantly.
Yeah, they're improving quite well, to be honest, Infinity. And with what they've seen, with the action that we've seen, D35 also and Sharper Esports had 2 fights that nobody died. And that is surprising to me. Honestly, that was the most surprising thing for me, for that whole fight for D35 versus Sharper Esports. It's like I'm watching a football game or something. But again, it was such a great showing for all our teams. I love that they're evolving, upgrading, and also the picks are dynamic. That is what I'm very surprised of, and that's what I like about the FSL Wild Open 5. And it's still not done because we still have a lot of things in store for us tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, thank you very much to Intel and Yahoo for powering Wild Rift Open 5. You make this all possible.
Yeah. Thank you very much to Intel and Yahoo. And again, we have been your shoutcasters for today's matches. My name is Dash and I was here with Infinity. See you guys tomorrow for more FSL Wild Rift Open 5 for the grand finals.